How to make your drums smack harder than Will Smith. Come on, Pepe, hay que bailar. If you want to support the channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com. You can find all of my sound design work, some of the best serum preset samples in the game. It all begins in its conception. This is the best formula you're ever going to learn if you're a music producer. Good samples plus good music producer equals good music. Now, when it comes to picking good samples, best advice I can give to people is if you are in doubt of the sample being good, layer it with something that is known to work. Like, for example, the 909 drum machine is one of the most iconic drum machines. The open hat. Again, just make educated decisions when it comes to samples and don't get sample-itis when you're working on a song. Always be open to switching out the drums. That might be the key to getting over that plateau you're in. Transient Designers. Transient shapers are going to be one of the tools you have to make your drums smack. But to use them, I do recommend that you understand the anatomy of a sample or dynamics. So with transient shapers, you're going to have your attack section and your sustain section. Now, in order to understand what the attack is, the attack of a sample is going to be the beginning of it, the initial pop of it. Like if I have a clap, the initial impact is going to be my attack. And then anything that comes after, let's say I'm in a big ass room and there's like reverb, like, then you have the sustain part of the clap. Okay, so with a transient shaper, we can increase the level of the initial impact while not increasing the sustain part. Now, this is what's going to make drums smack, that you increase that initial part while the other part either stays the same or gets quieter. Transient shapers are very simple to use. All we have to do is increase the attack of this. Okay, now notice how it's getting louder, that initial part. You're not hearing the open hat go, because if we were just increasing volume, this is what would happen. What we're actually doing is increasing this initial part of the open hat here. So if I lower down the attack, you can hear the sustain part of this, what it is. Okay? It's that shaker. Parallel compression. Okay, now parallel compression is one of the best ways to get your drums to smack. Now, I'm sure many of you guys have discovered that if you grab a glue compressor and you push it really hard, and then you set your attack and your attack around 30 and your release very fast, that you get your drums to smack for sure. But here's the thing, this form of compression is horrible because yeah, you get the smack, but you lose the body. What if you could do this without ruining everything? Well, that's where parallel compression comes into play. Return tracks are probably one of the strongest things you're gonna have to do parallel anything. Now from here, we're gonna use this compressor. It's called the VC76. It's a Native Instruments one, but it's modeled after an old compressor. But the thing about this is that this compressor, I remember when I was a noob, I first opened it, like, I was like, damn, this shit's macking. I'm gonna show you guys how this works. So we're just gonna right click like so, insert return track. From there, call it your New York compression or whatever. Again, I'm gonna use a VC76, but you know, even Arturia has one. Like every plugin company has one. The one I used to use was the Waves one, but I got the Native Instruments Complete, so this is the one I use. Okay, so that, as you can see, the drums have been routed to the return. Now, this isn't doing what we wanted to do yet. So what I'm going to do is put in the input so that this starts to do its thing. And from there, we're going to play with the attack. Okay, so we're going to go with the release on the right so it's faster. Seems like it. Okay, starting to get there. Okay, so before, now. So experiment with different compressors. Parallel compression is known to help you increase the sustain in your drums, add smack, give a lot of like ambience as well, because a lot of the open hats, the noise floor gets brought up so you can actually hear every little thing. But just be careful. One of the biggest mistakes you can do here is overdo it. And by that means the volume, you're going to have to mix this in. You want to set it somewhere where it's influencing the way it sounds, but not too much where this becomes the sound that you have. Because obviously the sound we have there is, it's a good sort of layer, but by itself, shit. Expansion. Another great way to get your drums to smack is utilizing expansion. So a lot of us know compression. The cool thing about expansion, it's kind of flipped on its side in the sense that when the thresholds hit, it's sort of like someone's pushing you from behind. Let's say you hit 88 miles per hour and then you're like, okay. And then someone pushes you and launches you up to 100. That's literally expansion. So we have to meet the threshold with the clap. So what we can do is bring it down here. And then you're going to see this blue line going up. So we have gain reduction, but the opposite way, which is gain increasement. So here's the volume of the clap before and after, right? So let's put the dry and wet up to 100. Before. Dynamic EQ. Another cool way to get your drums to smack is to utilize a dynamic EQ, which is very similar to the expansion thing we did, but now you get to decide what frequencies we're going to apply the smack to, which could be very useful. Now with claps, usually the body and everything will come from one of the mid-high frequencies. When I design claps for some of my packs, I know, okay, the clap will usually land in the mix somewhere around here. The open heads take this. So a lot of the claps will be around this area. So if I want to make the smack, all I have to do is set it up here and add an increase of dynamic range. I encourage you guys to experiment where you want to do the increase, but again, like anything else, just don't get carried away by doing anything like this. As you can see, that just is very untasteful. So you want to be slight with it, get the desired effect, and be composed. But this is another cool tool at your disposal to get your drums to pop out, smack, and it works with any drum that you may have. All right, guys, and those are going to be the ways to get your drums to smack. If there's more, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. But as of that, there's really nothing else that I can think of that will get your drums to smack, which is a good thing. With that being said, you guys have a great rest of your day and good night.